Today we are going to start a little summer series that's going to be a little bit lighter, but hopefully you're going to have some fun with it and enjoy it, but also we're going to try to tie it in with some marriage lessons and things we learned. So basically what we're going to do over the next few weeks to lighten things up a little bit we're going to tell some funny stories from our marriage, some personal stories, maybe stories that nobody else even knows. And we're going to have fun telling those and then talk a little bit about what we learned from those funny stories. So stay tuned. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Redeemed Marriage Podcast. Rusty and Heather Bryant back with you this week, and we are going to kick off this summer series just because really there's lots and lots of podcast producers or creators out there that take a break for the summer, and we just decided we're not going to do that. We're going to be consistent and faithful because we have faithful listeners, so we're going to be faithful in our podcast and continue as best we can to keep putting these episodes out each week. But we did want to make it a little bit lighter because the last 5 weeks, man, we've been in some heavy stuff, and it's fine because
we can do heavy.
Oh yeah,
we ain't scared of heavy.
We ain't scared. and it's amazing how differently we look at that. Should we tell the joke?
Oh gosh.
So here's the thing. Like these are two different things that are going on in my mind. One is that like I never want to take lightly, the struggles that people are going through, because it's not. I mean, it is heavy, and the struggle in our marriage that we went through is infidelity. And so, it's not something to joke about, but at the same time, what happened to us today, it just was such a great reminder to me of what God has done and how far we've come in 12 years, or almost 12 years. And so, should we tell it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's funny. And as long as nobody's like, oh my gosh, who's your pastor? Because it was really funny.
Well, it was funny, and I think some of it was because we had a great friend that gave us a heads up. Yep. So we were sitting in church this morning, and somebody texted Heather and said, hey, we just want to make sure that you're aware that our pastor in his sermon is about to say, he's about to tell a joke about infidelity. And I thought that was so great that they were concerned about our heart. They just wanted to make sure that we were prepared for it. And so my initial reaction, I'm not gonna lie, when I first, because you showed me the text, and I was like, oh, I wonder what this is going to be. But I was already in a place where I was like, man, isn't it great that that doesn't scare me?
Sure.
And so when we say this, there's a part of me that I think we're telling this joke and this funny, and then what happened, because I want people out there that may be struggling with this and going through this. Right. They're like, okay, there's some hope, because here's some people that really walk through the worst of the worst. And now, not that they're joking about it, but
it doesn't have to be so heavy.
It's completely redeemed. It is completely redeemed. So anyway, basically, our pastor was talking about heaven this morning, and he told he told the story, or the story of a man that goes to heaven.
Because we were talking about being rewarded.
Yeah, that's right, being rewarded. And so he gets up there, and St. Peter or somebody's talking to him and is like, hey, have you ever been unfaithful to your wife? And he's like, oh, no. He's like, I've always been faithful to my wife. And he says, well, you're going to get to drive around streets of gold in a Lamborghini. And so he gets his Lamborghini, and he's off. And then St. Peter sees him a little bit later, and he's all depressed and really upset. Crying. And St. Peter's like, dude, what is wrong? He's like, you're driving around in this Lamborghini. And he said, yeah, but I just saw my wife and she was on roller skates. And so fortunately we were prepared for that, but
and I texted my friend, I said, whoop, there it is.
and then I just kind of got a little bit, I started laughing a little bit, and in my head I thought, should I say this or not? And I just leaned over and whispered in your ear, and I said, I'll let you ride in my Lamborghini.
To which I said, I pulled up the text, and I will roll around on roller skates all day as long as I'm in the presence of my Jesus.
There you go.
And it doesn't matter what I have. But it was a funny joke because he was unaware of his wife. It was like,
right.
Why do I feel the need to explain the joke?
I don't know.
It's not near as
You're
funny.
not real good with jokes. So here's the thing. I hope that people out there are like, well, that wasn't very tasteful because I'm struggling right now. Well, it's because it is an unbelievable feeling to be redeemed.
That's right.
From whatever it is that you've gone through in your life. And it's not to take light of it, but it's just to go, man, look what God has done. Mm-hmm. And so some of you that I know you listen to our podcast because you're attracted to our story and the mess that we were walking through an affair. And I hope that it just gives you some hope to be able to go, man, like, I want to be there one day where, it's still serious, because if you've listened to the last 5 episodes, you know that it's serious. We're not taking any of it lightly.
That's right.
But at the same time, we also are recognizing what God has done for us and what he's done in our marriage, and it's incredible. And so now we want to live in this freedom. We don't want to live where this sin that was 12 years ago that has been completely forgiven and totally redeemed, we don't want to live in that anymore.
Right. And the heaviness of that.
Yeah, and the heaviness of that. So, and that leads us right into today. So we want to be able to tell some funny stories of things that have happened throughout our 27 years of marriage. And we just want to be able to laugh a little bit.
You're just claiming that 27 years, aren't you?
It's next month.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So I hope that you guys will enjoy. We're going to try to come up with maybe 3 or 4 of our favorite.
Only one today.
Yeah. Just one today. We're just
Don't worry,
one
just one story a week.
One story. We're going to laugh a little bit and maybe give some marital insights as to what we learned. So when I think about these stories that we're going to tell, these are kind of like when you and your spouse, hopefully you have some of these, that when you just need a good laugh and a good reminder of what your journey and your marriage was, these are your go-tos. You just bring them back up, and sometimes it might be just you and your spouse. Right now, ours is about to be our me, my spouse, and the whole world. Whoever's listening to this, but it's okay. So we're gonna rewind all the way back, probably about 5 years into marriage.
Yeah. Well, and let me because it's
I've been
your
talking.
story, so you tell the.
It's not my story.
No. You came up with this story to tell.
But
so
it was the number one story. Like, this is the number one funny story.
Okay. Well, if you say that, they're not going to listen the next 2 weeks.
Nah, we'll come up with some other good ones.
But let me preface it since you're going to tell the story. So we got married in 97 and 96.
Oh my! Hey, all of you out there, point for the husband. I know when we got married.
96.
Oh my goodness!
So sorry.
So bad.
I don't know why. I think it's because of
you owe me now. That's all there is to it.
Child number 2's birthday. Anyway, okay, sorry. We got married in 96, and we were, we were like, we're going to wait to have a baby. Absolutely. We're going to wait a few years to have a baby. And then I guess 4 years in, we decided we wanted to try to have a baby. So we got pregnant really quickly the first time. It didn't take a long time. And we were like, okay, well, here we go. And we were about 12 weeks in, and we had heard the heartbeat and all of that. And then I started spotting. And after several days of the unknown, I had to have a D&C. and because we had lost the baby. So we had a miscarriage, and that was tough. It was tough. Then we got pregnant again pretty quickly and miscarried again. And it was, heartbreaking. That one was a little earlier.
Yeah.
Wasn't as, I didn't have to have surgery and all that. So we decided, okay, we're going to have a baby. We've got to make this happen. Well, it took a lot longer than we had anticipated. And so we ended up seeing a fertility specialist, and they put me on a medicine called Clomid that made me ovulate at a specific time. So we had like a 3-day, this is prime time. And, we had gotten all the testing done on Rusty and everything was fine. So don't be writing in telling me we shouldn't have been doing it every day, because we knew he was fine to do all 3 days in a row. And to have our best chance of getting pregnant, we needed to do these 3. It was really 5, but those 3 core got to happen on those 3 days. Well, we had tried, and we were only going to be on this medicine for 6 months. We did month 1, no baby. We did month 2, no baby. Month 3, no baby. Month 4, no baby. This was month 5, and we only had this one and one more. So it was crunch time. And after this medicine, we were going to have to move on to the next part of the story, which we never got to because we had a baby. But anyway, okay, so here we are, month 5. I had to really set it up because it was important.
Well, I'm so glad you did, because I'm just going to tell you, I knew none of that.
Oh, my good
Like,
grief.
none of that. That was...
You did.
No.
Oh, the timing. Okay,
Oh,
I got you.
I was like, I just knew that... Well, I did know that we had gone to see a specialist, and like there were certain days and I knew you'd gotten on some medicine because everything was so irregular, and so that was what that was the whole point of it, was
to make sure I
all
was
right,
ovulating.
you got this little window, and but that's the case for regular people.
Exactly. Just regular people you have, but you just aren't as
right, and they don't.
We knew those were the days. It's not like, so we weren't missing it, was my point.
Yeah.
Like, we had 3 days and it was going to happen.
Yeah. So, funny story. We were scheduled to go on a little trip with your family. Your mom, your dad,
sister and
your
brother-in-law.
sister, brother-in-law, and their little baby. Since you know all the details, how do you remember all the details? I know where we were.
Okay.
But where?
Oh, I don't remember why we were there.
You don't remember why we were going or anything?
But we were there in Atlanta. We were going to do something fun.
Yeah, so we were going on this little vacation of some sort. And
I don't remember why we were there.
Yeah,
sorry.
So anywho, the story goes like this. We were staying at a house of a family member. So the family member had this. It was sort of like an extra house. It was like a missionary house, and so it was vacant. It was fully furnished and stuff. So, but they would use it when they would come to visit and things like that at this particular property, and so it was just open that week for us to be able to go and stay there. So we start,
and we're all in the same house.
Yeah, we're all in the same house, and we know, we're like, okay, we've got to plan this thing right, because, we got to figure out how to do the deed, know. And so we're, so we get over there to the house, and there's 3 bedrooms, all right? So there's a master bedroom.
So we weren't sharing a room with anybody. That's good.
Good, check. Step number 1, check. We weren't gonna have to sneak off to the woods.
That's right.
So the first one was the first bedroom is a master bedroom. Her mom and dad were gonna take that. I'm sure if we would have been like, hey, folks, just want y'all to know, maybe they would have given it to us. But we weren't really comfortable doing that. So her mom and dad took so the in-laws have their master bedroom. So there's one other bedroom that was bigger, had a big bed. and your sister's older, and they had the
And they had a
baby,
baby.
so they needed a place to put like the pack and play or whatever they used back then. And so they got that room. So we get the third bedroom. Well, we walk into the third bedroom, and the third bedroom has 2 twin beds. Okay, all right. We're already sort of laughing on the inside. I remember walking in, and we're just going, all right, well, we're gonna make.
We're gonna start in one
We're
bed.
gonna make this work. We're gonna figure this out and make this work. So we get in, we get settled and everything, and I mean, it wasn't nighttime. I mean, I don't know what we did, but I think it was one of those things. It was already a little bit funny because we were thinking through, what are the chances? I mean, we're here, we're with your family in the same house, and we've got this short little window of time, and now we've got twin beds. And so we get ready to go to bed that night. We had kind of already talked about it, and I feel like for me especially, there was definitely a little bit of an excitement. Like, I mean, this is fun.
Yeah,
like, what? Not for you.
I was like, my parents are next door, and just be shh.
It was fun. It was fun. All right, so we get in there, and
this is important.
Oh,
this is important because we started out in one bed. Like, I didn't unmake my bed. We started out with just getting in one bed together. It's like, let's do this, and then I'll go to my bed.
Right.
Yeah,
but
that was important.
Here's the other thing. So this was a children's room. 2 twin beds, children's rooms. And apparently, I mean, we never went this route with our children, but if you have some problems with bedwetters, then there's things that you can put on the bed to make it, so you're not ruining the bed all the time. The mattress. Right. So apparently this was the case for the people that were at this house. And so the sheets there was some sort of a plastic something or another
covering the mattress, between the mattress and the sheet.
It sounded like we were rolling around in saran wrap or tinfoil or whatever Reynolds wrap.
It was very crunchy.
Yes, and so we didn't realize that
plastic.
Yes. So we didn't realize that until we got in the bed, and we were like, "Oh my goodness." And so we were like, "Oh my gosh, we've got to be like really quiet." And so it was funny already, and we're kind of laughing about that, and we're like, okay, and I'm sure for me it was funny, but at the same time, very adventuresome, and let's enjoy. And you're just like, get this over with, It's like, come on, we'll finish this, and so we're getting ready to.
Oh no, we're in
the act. We're in the act, and
with the plastic sheets.
With the plastic sheets, but we're being as quiet as we can, and we hear. That's a knock, by the way, and that's what we heard, and I think we both went, "Wait, what was that?" And so we froze. We froze. And
our eyes got really big.
And the next thing we heard was Heather's mom's voice on the other side of the door. And so at that point, I don't know, we weren't real sure why she was there. I think we were very thankful that the door was locked, for one thing. And then we were like, all right, well, we're fixing to make a lot of racket because one of us has got to get out of this plastic bed and move into the other bed.
You like my sound effects?
Yeah.
And at that point, I was like, oh my gosh, the other bed's not even unmade. Like, that's why it was important that there was only one bed.
There was a lot going on. There was a lot going on.
And I said, yes. And I was like, I got to go to the door.
Yeah. And so you got up and went to the door.
Quickly putting on all the clothes.
And so you opened the door. I don't even know what she wanted.
Yeah, I don't either. But I just remember cracking the door, and I knew that the bed she could see was completely made up. So I was like, okay, well, we're busted. And so I was like, hey, and it was, hey, just wanted y'all to know we're going to leave at whatever time in the morning. I mean, it wasn't anything weird. She just was letting us know what time to get up, I think.
Right. Yep. So she left. We closed the door.
And we were like, what? This isn't happening.
It's like that. It's like that old King of Queens episode when they were going through the same thing, and one of the moms was there, and they were on the rickety bed, and he said, "It sounds like Geppetto's workshop," and she came to the door. It was the exact same thing. She comes to the door, and when she leaves, I just remember the lady in King of Queens, and she said, "Should we wait?" She goes, "Should we wait and try this next month?" And he said, "I couldn't make love to Julia Roberts right now." But hey, you know what? We fought through it.
Yeah, we did.
We fought through
we
it.
did, and we didn't make a baby that month.
We didn't.
We gave a good effort.
And it probably had something to do with that whole episode.
But don't worry. For those of you who are just dying to know the end of the story, month 6.
Yeah.
You ready? Month 6, we miss our opportunity. We missed that magic window because you were overseas playing soccer and you came back and we had missed our window. But it was like you had been gone for a week. It was just as natural as anything. There weren't any plastic sheets involved.
No plastic sheets. No in-laws.
And month 6, the very last month, Luke was conceived.
There we go.
And we have him and Precious Logan. So don't worry, everything worked out great.
So as I was thinking through this, I was like, all right, well, we need to offer some good marital advice based on our funny story. You know, that's what we're all about. This is a marriage podcast, so we're going to tell some funny stories, but we want to be able to go, hey, when you look back on your funny stories, like, what is it? You know, what is it that you learned from that? So what'd you learn from that?
Well, the number one thing I learned was be able to laugh at yourself because we even laughed in that moment. Like it would have been really easy to be frustrated and to be like, oh my gosh. And you could have been like, your mom. But it wasn't. It was, we laughed. We figured it out. I will forever remember like me going and our eyes both getting as big as saucers. And so it's okay to laugh through journeys and when things don't go as planned.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
That's number one for me.
Well, and like even when we say to laugh about things, you know, I've mentioned on here before that my counselor one time as we were going through what we went through said, don't take life so seriously. And I think it's so important that even when hard times and heavy times come and like you're able to look back at things like that and just remember like marriage is fun. Like there's going to be hard times, there's going to be rough times, but you can still laugh about it. It doesn't have to always be so just hard and heavy and difficult and serious and all that. So, and I was going to say, probably one of the things that everybody should take away from the story is lock the door.
I thought you were going to do something really like awesome.
Lock the door. I mean, there's kids probably around and, you know, but I did say this a couple of times when we were talking about it, when I said it was, for me, I do kind of remember the adventure and the excitement of it. And even though it was, like, I do remember those months being a little taxing and wearing on us because, you know, you're having physical intimacy out of necessity.
Right.
And not, you know, most of the time it's not something romantic or something that maybe one of you or both of you don't really even want to do it, but you're doing it because you're trying to make a baby.
That's right.
And so,
and we know our listeners have been there.
Oh yeah,
like
surely,
yeah, or you will be there.
That's
if
right.
You're newlyweds.
That's right. But it does remind me that even in that, you know, there was some adventure to it, some excitement to it. And like, I don't want to lose that, you know,
Sure.
I mean, we're not making babies and we're not going, sleeping on plastic sheet covers and stuff like that. But just there was something a little bit daring about it and having to, you know, it was just, that just made fun. And I just think that marriages need to keep that, keep that even 27 years later. There just needs to be the adventure and the excitement and, a little bit of out of the ordinary and something that's unexpected.
Yeah. I love it. Sweet advice.
Yeah.
Sweet advice. And I love that it's summer and we're doing these little lighter things. But I hope that people can still learn some things from it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we still, several weeks ago we told you guys that we're in the middle of rebranding. Mm-hmm. And that is still coming. We're hoping that by the end of the summer, we have everything out and ready to roll. And that'll be a fun time, and we'll make sure that we promote that really big to you guys. But thank you for listening and for being faithful listeners. We had a lot of fun looking at our download stats from the last month and just seeing where all of these people are coming from. And, it was great. The other day we even had a message from somebody that said, I'm one of your faithful listeners from Malaysia. And I was like, that is so cool. Mm-hmm. And we know there are people listening from all over the world. So here's the thing. We want to hear from you. So, don't be scared to reach out to us by sending us an email or social media, direct message us. We love getting those messages, and they don't have to be even, you don't always have to come with some kind of big problem, although we're here to help as much as we can. But we just love to hear from you and love to know where you are and how this podcast has helped you in your marriage. So thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoy your week, and we'll see you next week.